Hello, this is Chloe Blingit, and I will be presenting on the top 10 best-selling cards in the Pokemon set Phantasmal Flames. We're gonna go over, like I said, this is the top 10 best-selling cards. When choosing the top 10, I pay most of my attention to sales volume, market price, and market price changes, trying to strike a balance between these three. In my eyes, the best-selling cards are those that are selling a lot at a relatively high price, considering the card's history and the type of card it is. So I sorted a top 10 for One Piece last week. This one's for Pokemon, but essentially I sorted my top 10 differently this week than last week and a little differently from the other sets. So I'm doing three sets in total. For each set, I sort of adjusted my and refined my choosing process as I kept going. So this is the first set I applied the formula to, and then the next set it'll be a little different, but that's just to say. For this one, I looked at the top 15 popular on price charting and top 15 best-selling on TCG Player related to the set. So I have the doc open here for Phantasmal Flames. This is the top 15 most popular cards related to Phantasmal Flames via price charting. And then we also have the top 15 best-selling via TCG Player also related to Phantasmal Flames. What I did is I took these cards, which ended up being 17 in total, because obviously there would be a lot of overlap between the two websites, and ranked them considering price point, which would be the average of the market price on TCG Player and the ungraded price on price charting, and the overall price change based on the TCG Player graph via a point system. So I have the sheet here. This is the data I collected about all. Oh, this is 19 cards. I don't know why I said 17. This is the right one, right? Yeah. All 19 cards that I collected from the top 15 on each website. Here I have the TCG price points and the PC price point, or the price charting price point. And I just calculated the average price as shown here. And then I would sort the whole entire sheet based off of highest to lowest average price. And then use the point system, and then I'd use a point system here based on placement. Last place gets 1 point, and then it just increases by 1 point for each place. So in this case, the highest would get 19 points. And then I also applied the same thing for the 1 month price change. In this case, for this set specifically, for my other sets, I'm going to be using 3 months, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, but for this set, I'm using 1 month. And that is because this set just hasn't been out long enough in order to see, in order for the graph of 3 months to like be zoomed in enough, if that makes sense, to properly analyze it. So the graphs we'll be looking at from this point on are 1 month graphs. Basically, I rank those, I give them points, and then based off the points, I put them into our top 15. So this is our top, not 15, this is our ranking then with price point and price change alone. And then from there, I would take about the top 10, top 12, and then rearrange them based off of sales volume. That's here. I then took the top 13 from this ranking and resorted them based on each of their sales volumes. From here on out, each slide will contain an explanation of why I believe it is within the top 10. And my top 10 is not in a particular order, and it isn't a ranking. Despite what I did, I'm still not. I adjust the formula later on because I'm still not super comfortable with the ranking on this one. But in this case, this isn't a ranking. They're more grouped based off of the type of card and their sales volume and price, etc. and reasons. But these are just the 10 cards that I think would be in the top 10. I also am going to have a few honorable mentions at the end. I think this one has 2. The honorable mentions are just there mainly for research purposes, or they were just cards that caught my eye for some reason and I wanted to look into them a bit more. Yeah. Starting with our first card, Mega Charizard XEX, number 125. You can actually ignore the number right here. As you can see, we have a picture of the card, and then we also have a graph that shows the sales volume over, in this case, 1 month, as well as the price changes according to TCG Player. I'm going to point this out. TCG Player, its graph, the sales volume only counts for sales that are on that website. So I also consult eBay when it comes to sales volumes, because there tend to be a lot more sales on eBay than it shows on the graph. So if you see something in the top 10 where the graph looks like this, it's super sparse, it doesn't look like there's a high sales volume, it's usually up here because on eBay, it just has a lot more sales compared to the others on eBay. And so I consider that into sales volume. But anyways, why is this card popular? I put character popularity. I guess I could have put Pokemon popularity, but if you know Pokemon, you know Charizard. Charizard is the single most collected Pokemon, and it is a big fan favorite. It's an OG starter evolution, which means it's from Gen 1, and so just being an OG starter by itself. Charmander also big presence in the anime. A lot of people's just favorite starters overall. It's just Charizard's just a really popular Pokemon. It's a fan favorite, so Charizard cards are always up here somewhere. Specifically, you'll notice there's a lot of Megas in this, which of course we're in the Mega Evolution era, so you're gonna see just a lot of Mega cards overall. But Charizard's Mega X form is especially popular because of the blue and black design. There's Mega Charizard Y, that's not nearly as popular because the design's a little more similar to regular Charizard. But this one's arguably the most popular Mega Evolution, and so the card would be popular as well. Also, this is a full art. Since we're dealing with Pokemon, which is very collector focused when producing cards, you're gonna see a lot of full arts, if not just full arts. These might all just be full arts, and a lot of EXs as well. The full arts are rare, they're very they're made with collectors in mind, and so they are always sought after by collectors. And this is also a chase card. The Charizard cards in general, in this set specifically, are the main chase cards within the set. And so, obviously it's made for people to be chased after, and so they're higher in demand. Another Mega Charizard. This one was actually, I think, the main advertised chase card. Once again, it's a Charizard card, so it's up there. I think this one is the highest rarity Charizard in the set, if not maybe the highest rarity card, because like I said, it is the advertised main chase card. And then this is the set's advertised chase card, making it sought after by collectors and chased for hope of PSA 10 quality, because PSA 10 of this card is thousands of dollars. I think I might have a note somewhere that literally says, oh yeah, for this one too, where if you go on eBay, you will see that these can easily bid for $1,000, $2,000. But yeah, and then because it's a Charizard and it's a classic and it's a chase card, high rarity, it also has that monochrome design that collectors really like for some reason, and Pokemon really loves pushing to collectors. This is just going to have long-term collector value. Another Charizard, we're going to get all the Charizards over with now. Mega Charizard XEX 109. Once again, Charizard, very popular Pokemon and card to collectors. Mega Charizard X is more popular than its counterpart and is arguably one of the most popular Mega Evolutions. And then collectability, this card has the factor of just, hey, the other Charizard cards are super popular, and so collectors like to complete collections. They like to have all cards related to a Pokemon. And so because the other two Mega Charizards are super popular, this one would just be popular by association because collectors want to buy it to complete their collections. Mega Sharpedo, we're out of Charizard. Mega Sharpedo EX 127, as to why this is popular. There's gonna be, like I said, Mega Evolution cards tend to attract collectors in general, especially Mega EX, Once again, another full art card, which collectors love. And the artwork, specifically, the artwork of this card is quite unique. It's vibrant, it's cool, it's sharp. The artwork of this card, as well as this Pokemon, appeals to fans of cool Pokemon, which are like cooler, darker, edgier. Think Absol, think Corviknight. Like, those types of fans would be very attracted to this card. It's also an art style that I think very much reflects the aesthetic of the Pokemon. And so fans of this Pokemon, Sharpedo, would really like this card. Also, in terms of price point, you'll notice that this one is just below Charizard's. Compared to the Charizards, this Sharpedo is a lot more affordable. It's much cheaper than a $1,000 Charizard card. And so this is a good alternative for collectors who want a nice high-value Pokemon full art card from the set, but don't want to spend that much money on the Charizards. Also, playability doesn't have as much of a factor in Pokemon sales just because the Pokemon TCG buyers are largely made of collectors. But just for the playability, this card is popular in competitive play. Sharpedo, I think, is generally popular in competitive play. In this case, I'm also talking about TCG competitive play and not VGC. There's a difference. Mega Lopunny EX 128, another Mega Evolution. This is Lopunny, which anyone who's ever touched the Pokemon fan base knows that Lopunny has a large and dedicated fan base as a Pokemon for reasons, but this is specifically the Mega Evolution. Like I said, Mega Evolutions in general tend to be popular. I know that this Mega Evolution of Lopunny tends to be pretty well liked. Another thing, obviously Mega Evolution era accompanies Pokemon Legends ZA, which came with new Mega Evolutions. Mega Lopunny, this evolution I don't think is a new Mega Evolution, but because Legends ZA came out, overall popular Mega Evolutions are gaining more popularity just because Mega Evolutions are getting attention again. And once again, another full art, so collector chase cards. Dawn 118, so this is our first trainer card. Dawn, for those who have not watched the anime, Dawn is one of the most popular trainers and one of the most popular companions of Ash. and she's just an overall beloved character from the anime. And she also carries that nostalgia factor since Dawn is from Gen 4, so she appeals a lot to older players. I say older because it's not that old, but older players and fans of the show. She also is known to have cross-collector appeal, in which this card can attract collectors of different spheres within the TCG. Basically, Dawn can be added to a lot of collections. And it's also a full art, specifically the trainer full art, which I discovered something called, I think it's the trainer full art effect or something, which basically says that for some reason trainer full arts are just always popular among collectors, are always among the top best-selling when it comes to collectors. So that keeps it pretty high as well. Another Mega Sharpedo EX 113. This is a different version. Similar art style, similar colors, but a little less detailed. You'll notice, I just want to point out, his graph is very interesting. It's arguably the only one that currently isn't going down by that much. A lot of them are going down, and that's because it's been, except for this one, it's been so soon after the release that they're just becoming more accessible, or people are just opening them more, and there's an increasing supply since release because of that, if that makes sense. So why it's up here, we've talked about playability with Sharpedo before, we talked about Mega EX, rarity, full arts. This is another one, although it's a less detailed artwork, which is why I think it falls below the other Mega Sharpedo. It still is an artwork that fits the Pokemon. It's cool, it appeals to the types of fans that Sharpedo would tend to have, which are the cooler, edgier fans. Also, this is a cheaper alternative to the other Mega Sharpedo card. So if you want to get a Mega Sharpedo card, but you're like, hey, that other one is too expensive, this is still a full art. It has the same style. Basically, it's just a little less detailed. This is a good alternative. And then for some reason, playability is here twice, but sorry, I need to check something. The second Dawn card, Dawn number 129, another full art. Not as full art because this Dawn has, actually no, they're the same. We talk about character popularity again, we talk about the nostalgia factor, we talk about and then we also talk about collectability, similar to how the other Charizard, the last Charizard card we talked about how one of the reasons why it was popular is because it completed the collection of Charizards. This is another one that just completes the high rarity Dawn set within the set. So if you get one of the Dawns, you'll tend to want to buy the other one just so that you can have both of them. Rarity, this is a higher rarity Dawn card within the set. I don't remember if this is more rare than this Dawn card. But considering the art style and the quality and just the fact that the art is more detailed, I would bet on it a bit more. But rarity is a big factor for collectors. And then also, once again, it's full arts. Trainer full arts tend to do very well. We have another Mega Charizard XEX 13. You also realize this one is not full art. Why it's here, we talked about character popularity, we talked about the Mega X form, we haven't talked about playability. But essentially, if you were a player and you wanted a Mega Charizard X card that had the moves from this set, you would buy this card and not the rare cards because you want it for playability and not for collection. And so this card appeals more to players than collectors. It also appeals to collectors because, like the other Charizard card, this completes the Charizard set within this set. If you have the other Charizard cards, you're like, might as well buy this one so that I can have all of them. And then I think this is the last of our top 10 here. Mega Gengar EX number 56. Another not a full art. This one I chose, I think, mainly because of the graph. It's also, I think, the only one of the top 10 that currently has a positive price change, which I don't think it's positive by that much money, but it's positive by a pretty good percentage. But as to why it's popular, character popularity, Gengar is a well-liked Pokemon with massive following. I'm just not personally a fan of it. And it's also a good Pokemon that I know a lot of people play with when it comes to the video game. It also appeals to the same aesthetic as Sharpedo does, which is that super dark aesthetic, that edgy, that gothic aesthetic, which appeals to collectors. And for players, Gengar EXs often have strong abilities when it comes to play, and so players would buy Mega Gengar EX just so that they can play with it and add it to their decks. Now we're on the honorary mentions. Meowth 106. I put this one in honorary mentions because it kept popping up within the top sellers or the most popular when I was looking at him. It was like always around like 4 or 5, but it didn't make it into the top 10 obviously, just because I think its price point and its price change just made it lower. But as to why it showed up as being popular, it's Meowth. Meowth is an iconic mascot level Pokemon due to Team Rocket's Meowth. For those who have not watched the anime, Team Rocket are the villains, and Meowth talks, but it offers anime nostalgia as well as just overall nostalgia.
Yeah, that's right.
It's also a full art, and it has a really clean, vibrant, nostalgic art style that would appeal to fans. It's also cheaper than other cards while still maintaining a high quality with a nice art style, and so that makes it quite popular. This is another one, this is my last honorary mention. This is another one that it didn't show up all the time in the top sellers, but it showed up once high enough that it caught my eye. And actually, this was a popular full art card that I didn't include above, simply because TCG players show such a low sales volume. This is literally only one sale within the past 3 months. Past month, it would also show past 3 months. There has only been one sale of this card, and therefore I just couldn't, in good conscience, put it in my top bestsellers because I just didn't have enough data for it. But I would think that this was a popular full art card that's well liked because it has a very appealing art style. It's vibrant, it's quite unique, it's very stylized, and I think collectors would like that a lot. And also Rotom. Rotom has a character popularity that I think people don't really, among modern fans mainly. It has modern appeal and within, for the players of like video games, and for those who have experienced anime, this has overall flexibility when it comes to play. And so it makes it a popular Pokemon by video game players. I don't know if it does so by TCG players, but I know quite a few Pokemon players who play the video game and like Rotom. That's my analysis of the top best-selling cards within Phantasmal Flames.